Good evening, everyone. What is up? Welcome to Just Jacks, Just Chat, episode 25. It's another Nation Series podcast. We haven't done one in a few weeks, so I'm really looking forward to this one. This one is one I've been probably the most pumped about, the most psyched about, just because the guy who we're about to speak with has been a bit of a mastermind behind multiple golf brands, successful ones in that case. So yeah, look, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Sean of Golf Bald. Sean, how are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
No, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming on. I know you're busy with multiple ventures, etc. The way I like to get these things started usually is to give everyone some context and to really dive deep into your origin story of golf, and how you wound up into this position. So please tell us where you're from, how you got into the game of golf, and how that transitioned into your business venture with Golf Ball.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I'm based out of LA and started golfball.com back in 2009.
Wow.
And it was just a way to get some free golf balls.
Nice.
So, I was partnered with a company launching a bunch of, I guess, traffic aggregating websites, and golfball.com was just one of the hundreds I was launching every day, and it just sort of hit. So one day, wrote some reviews on some free golf balls I got in. And one day, one of my programmers was like, hey, there's some decent traffic coming to this. I'm like, okay, well, let's open up a forum, let people start chatting about it. Mm-hmm. More and more traffic started building. And then I was like, well, let me get on the phone and see what other free stuff we can get.
Yeah.
And that's just how it started. And golfball.com just spiraled into a very large community golf review website. Within the year, we were networked with all of the major manufacturers, testing and reviewing all of the top end clubs every single year. At the high point, we were seeing probably 15 to 20,000 unique visitors per day, nice. Million plus impressions per month. We were definitely in the top 3 golf review websites on the internet.
That is insane.
And then so that's how I got my footing within the golf industry and started earning the trust of all of the golf manufacturers.
Yeah.
But then I saw their budgets veering from traditional advertising methods like banner ads, email blasts, stuff like that. So I really saw the social media wave as the next big thing. So, that's when I just started posting on Golf Ball, the Instagram, every single day for the past, 6 years or whatever it's been.
I was just scrolling through now to try and find the founder date of the Instagram. That's 6 years.
So 2012 it was established.
That's I think started in December of 2012. That's when I first spun it up, and then I've just posted 2 to 3 times a day for years.
Well, the benefits have clearly paid off.
Consistency and quality over time, it pays off quite clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So, as Golf Ball, the Instagram kind of evolved, I found myself in a unique position where, I had all of the relationships, connections, and trust of the golf manufacturers and companies that I'd worked for over the years. And then, everybody on Instagram kind of were my friends. We see each other at all different events. We chat with each other every single day. So, I kind of got into a little more influencer marketing, pairing certain companies up with the right types of influencers to kind of promote them well and get them good engagement and visibility. I've been working kind of as a consultant in the background for a lot of the major manufacturers. Cobra Puma Golf, I've worked for Travis Matthew, I've worked for Wilson Staff, a lot of the different companies. And I work as a consultant, whether it's marketing or social media, focusing on, their product launches, whether it's an on-site activation or a social media push. I'll just kind of start brainstorming different outside the box ideas and then get them to execute it.
That's awesome. No, that's such a cool,
it's a fun way to exercise your creativity within an industry that you love.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes I can't believe I get to do what I do.
That's a good thing. That's amazing.
I can tell in that laugh there. You're like, but you just realize again, like, oh fuck, I play golf and
Yeah.
think of ideas
kinda
the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Like some of my clients are like, we got this product coming out. We sent you a bottle of wine. Do what you do. Like, drink it all. Come up with some ideas, and we'll chat about it later. So they know like how I operate. I'll just like, I'll just drink. Like, I'm most productive at night. Like, I am such a night owl.
Yeah.
So like between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., like while everybody else is sleeping, I'm the most creative because nobody's gonna bother me.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw back some drinks, brainstorm some ideas, bang out a bunch of work, and that's how it gets done.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to operate. I have spent a lot of my life as a night owl, and I can definitely see that becoming a more productive area of my time. Because I'm up till 3 a.m. at the very earliest.
Yeah, my brain as well goes into overdrive at like 11:30.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I get like sleepy around like 7 or 8. But nobody's gonna get a sleep around then,
No.
and then like I wake up like in the nighttime. It's crazy.
That's awesome. So in regards to golf ball itself, is it just yourself who runs that now, or have you started branching that out? Or is it still just you?
So I started golfball.com with a few partners that still run the website.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I still have a bunch of people out there testing and reviewing.
Okay.
Everything for me because it's crazy. When we first started this, I maybe played 5 or 6 times a week.
Okay.
Right. And the further into the golf industry I got, the less time I had for golf.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've maybe only played 2 or 3 rounds this entire year so far because it's just been so busy, and especially with golf season in full effect, it's busy season.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody needs to get out there, needs promotion, needs marketing, needs to be told what to do. So it's
especially as well with the way the schedule's going, like sort of February, March is becoming like mid-season now. So like the golf season become like very, very long. Like we don't finish up until, I know it's changed a bit this year with I think the playoffs have been moved forward. But I mean, last year the season didn't really finish up until October, really.
Yeah, I mean, and the way the schedule is now, I mean, they go straight from the Tour Championship. Like maybe there's a week break, and then
there's some low-key events. Yeah,
there's some low-key events that start the season off immediately, and then they go to Hawaii, and they're going to Bahamas, and
it's all of a sudden it's Phoenix time in February, and then that for me is like, oh, we're going, like we're going again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. I think it's actually expanded the golf sales cycle and done a lot of great things for the industry. Because before, I remember Waste Management and like Farmers, they were a little later, like maybe a couple weeks later, and they've just slowly like moved it up. And what it's done is actually expanded the golf sales cycle where, once the tour really starts going, that's when people start thinking about golf and purchasing golf products. It usually did mirror kind of weather patterns where, in the US,
definitely for us.
Most of the country is frozen over and not thinking about golf.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas, things didn't really officially start getting fired up until the Masters hit. And, once the Masters hit, everybody's got the bug. Everybody wants to go out there, and that's when
the sales increase.
The most sales in golf like increase. So, the golf sales cycle kind of goes like, I'd say March through like September.
And is there much you can do between that September and March period when it is the downtime? What's the best tactics to kind of sell through that? Because obviously myself and Mitchell, we will be exposed to these sale times. So any tips?
I mean, it's just something. Yeah, it's just something I've learned over the years. I mean, there's not much you can do. You just need to weather the storm.
Okay, fair.
Possibly scale back on marketing budgets and save it for the high times.
Okay, yeah. So hit it when it's hot.
But also
cool.
target. You need to target the year-round golf markets.
Okay.
So California, Florida, Arizona, Texas, people that are playing all year round.
Yeah.
That's the best bet to still capture sales. And then again, in December, huge month because of the holidays.
Yeah.
So,
That's something me and Mickey have both sat down and strategized. In fact, we're obviously from Newcastle. It's a place in northeast of England. It's extremely seasonal. Like, yes, I play golf through the winter, but it takes a pretty passionate golfer to do so because it's bleak at the very best of times.
I'm not going anywhere near golf in the winter out here. There's no chance.
Exactly. Like me too. Like especially living in Southern California where it's like great golf weather almost year round. It's like if it's raining outside or looking gloomy, like I'll wait a day.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. I'm such a fair weather golfer. Like I'm so spoiled.
Yeah, see, we don't get that. We have
that's why I've set down our strategy. We obviously need to get to a warmer climate. Or year round just to support the business, I guess.
Yeah. Of course.
But absolutely.
Cali insights for sure. That's where we want to be long term.
Yeah, just cruise out here. I mean, hey, golf gods are coming later this month, and we're going to be golfing all around Southern California. So maybe you should schedule a trip.
We are looking to actually.
Yeah, we spoke with the guys at Cut Golf a few weeks ago. I know they've got Cut Invitational later on in the year. They haven't cut that down solid yet in the plans.
Yeah.
But we're thinking around October time. We've built quite I wouldn't say a strong network yet. We're still very new to this. But we've started to build some network, some form of connections in the West Coast.
Yeah.
So we're definitely in our plans to get to get out there.
Yeah, and just do the rounds essentially. I mean, there's a lot of guys we've spoken to on the podcast who, you'll know yourself because you're deep in the heart of it. The community on the West Coast is insane for golf. Like, it's such a good group of like-minded people, and
exactly.
We feel like we know them from the podcast and their content, but we want to physically go out there and do a trip and meet everybody.
Yeah, of course. And it's crazy once you finally meet people. It's like if you feel like you've known them for so long because you've interacted with them so many times, and sometimes I forget who I've met and who I haven't. I remember I met somebody for the first time like at Waste Management this past year, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this the first time we've actually met? Like I remember we were trying to figure out how to meet, but we've like talked for so long, and it feels like I know them.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How social media does that. It's beautiful, really.
It's weird because we haven't really got that stage yet. I remember mentioning it to Matt Cardis. Be like, what's it like when you actually see someone in the flesh and bones? After speaking with them maybe for hours, and you've been in the DMs for months and months, and seeing them must be like such a weird, a bit surreal.
You're real,
you're a real human.
Exactly, yeah, you're a real person. You're right in front of me.
Yeah,
it was so crazy. So Matt Cardis, he's one of my boys. I love that guy.
He's like the nicest guy, isn't he?
So I met him 2 years ago at the PGA show. And I guess we exchanged numbers afterwards to kind of keep in touch.
Yeah.
And I saw like his phone number, and it was from my hometown where I went to high school.
No way.
And long story short, like we went to the same high school randomly. No, out on the West Coast. He lived in Southern California and went to La Cañada High School with me. And
that's
awesome. He was just like 3 years ahead of me. And like some of my best friends brothers were like his really good friends. Insane. And it was just like we were at the same parties, like we knew a ton of the same people, we just didn't know each other. So it was such a small world.
That's mad. And you met in Florida of all places.
Yeah, we met at the PGA show. I think we were at like the Bradley Putters like house that they put together, invited a ton of influencers out, and got to meet and party and hang out with everybody. So
awesome. And I guess just to sort of pause on golf ball, Sean, as a business, where do you see the market of influencer marketing and influencer marketing within golf? Like where are we headed, and what's important? Because what I'm seeing a lot of is being focused on engaged communities over followers is sometimes becoming more of a talked about subject, I feel. Is that applicable in our industry, in our world?
If I'm understanding you right, yes.
Okay.
So the influencer marketing world is definitely gaining steam right now. It definitely became more relevant basically this past year. I mean, I've been yelling at all of these golf companies to get on board for years upon years, and not until this past year and a half have they finally started listening and realizing the value of golf influencers and social media as a whole, because there are tons of golfers who follow these influencers every single day and actually you listen and mimic a lot of the things they do, similar to celebrities and athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's along the same line, but I think it's actually more powerful because a lot of these social media influencers are a lot more relatable than the athletes. It's like a little more accessible too. And so the marketing and branding that a lot of these influencers levy is received a lot better. So I think there's a lot more strength in it.
Definitely. And I think what you said as well is it's what people are using to consume the content now. Like you said, it's a newer game, and a lot of the people that we find that we're trying to do business with often don't understand it and just straight up say, no, that's not how you market and things like that. But they don't see that if they don't get on board with it and get into the younger audiences who are on social media, that the sport would essentially die if nobody was actually focusing on that, because there'd be no children to pick it up. Like the kids in the younger market are only consuming social media stuff. That's it. There's nothing else they're looking at.
No, and I guess the good thing with golf as well is a sport. I think it's only going to thrive within this sort of within the social media world, because the clips are all so suited to Instagram.
Yeah. I agree.
You got like 15, 20-second highlights are perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's good for the game, definmany.
Absolutely. I mean, people's attention spans are getting smaller and smaller. Nobody's gonna not many people like watch a 6-minute video anymore. Podcasts work perfectly because people still commute, they drive around, they can put it on and actually consume media that way
while doing something else.
Exactly. But if you have a captive audience and you want them to click something and view something, I mean, you have 2 seconds to get their commit to the next 15 to 30 seconds to get your message across, and that's it.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, is well why I guess we're focused on podcasts. I mean, number one, from a selfish point of view, we really, really enjoy it. We really enjoy meeting people, talking about golf.
Of course.
But I guess the other thing is though, it's brand. We're so focused on creating brand over revenue at this stage, and providing value for our followers and for anyone who comes into contact with us. I think that's become really important as well, and it's something that when we talk to other businesses in especially in our local area, they don't understand that.
No, there's only one person we've spoken to so far from a business perspective in a business meeting that's actually said, "Oh, that makes sense. I get that. It's a good idea." Like, he was totally on board with it.
Yeah.
The rest are quite like, "What are you talking about?
Like, how are you going to make loads of money?" It's like,
it's like that's not even honestly like it is. There's a lot of people who are quite high up. They're very successful people, and I try and explain what we do, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh, I'll just leave it then." Like,
it's okay. Most people don't even understand what I do, so it's fine. It's fine.
And I think
it's funny my parents trying to explain what I do, and it just doesn't work.
You can certainly see that. Like Mitchell said, you laugh earlier. It's just it's a very relatable thing, because we do get to a point sometimes, because the Northeast is it's a very small segment of the world. It's extremely small.
Limited industry. So the people who've been successful has generally been within the construction industry. So so of all the places, it's probably the least receptive to this sort of content and brand. So, but it's fun.
It's a good thing you have an expansive audience past just your town. Definitely. There. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And Sean, again, I mean, we discussed it very briefly before we came on. But I'd love to know a bit more about the other sort of brands and ventures you're working on at the minute within the golf space.
Yeah, I mean, one of the latest ventures that I released, or that I partnered with a company for earlier this year, is a CBD company focused on golf, Envied Golf.
Nice.
So I really saw. I mean, CBD use is everywhere. I was probably exposed to it 2 years ago.
Okay.
I've got family members with various chronic pain conditions that have found CBD, and it really was such a miracle recovery and miracle experience for them, where they could use different lotions and oils and really start cutting out a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs that they became reliant on, and receiving, better relief.
Yeah.
So I partnered with an existing CBD company and created a new brand which released CBD products focused for golfers.
Okay.
So Envide Golf carries 3 different lines of CBD. They have 0 THC, so they're completely legal in the U.S. at a state and federal level.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're only selling in the U.S. market only for right now.
Okay.
There are a lot of other restrictive hurdles that we're trying to get through to ship to Canada, the UK, Australia. We've been getting tons of messages asking why we can't do that yet, but it's, because we're trying to do it the right way.
Yeah, well, of course,
Yeah, so we released 3 different lines of CBD. There's Relax, Relief, and Clarity.
Okay.
So Relief is kind of based upon pain relief and pain management. So we have a roll-on product where I have horrible elbow tendonitis.
Okay.
And I just rub a little bit of this CBD oil on, and seriously, it goes away within minutes.
Really?
And I'm able to play my round pain-free, and it's without having to load up on Advil or pain drugs.
And that's
which is a huge epidemic in America at the minute, right? With opioids, I guess in the likes of Oxycontin, etc. I don't mean to interrupt the product line, so please go ahead. But I just thought that was a really relevant point that for anyone struggling with things like chronic pain and anxiety, etc., like pharmaceutical man-made supplements probably isn't the way to go.
No.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Not when you've got this as an alternative.
Exactly. Like I still like I'm in this business and I still can't believe how good it works.
Yeah.
So we have relief for that, and then CBD oil drops that you could just put in your mouth, and you feel relief right away. I mean, the first time I used it, actually, the CBD oil relief drops. I remember we were at a PGA show this past year, and you're walking 10 miles a day, and you're just going nonstop. So I remember after the first day, I woke up, I could barely walk, because I remember we went out and partied all night, and we were dancing, and it was just, my legs were shot to shit. And then, can I cuss?
Yeah, of course, bro. It's cool.
Good. Say what you want, whenever you want, how you like. It's completely open-ended.
I don't know what the rules are.
No rules.
Good,
Zero rules.
I love that show.
Transparency at all times.
Yeah. So I remember, I got in an Uber on the way to the convention center, barely, limping into
still shit-faced.
the car. Yeah, still shit-faced too. I took a dropper full of the Envide Golf CBD, and I walked out of that car feeling great.
Was that the relief
Wasn't
one as
sore
well?
at all. The relief one. I was not sore at all, and I was good to go.
Are you saying you found a hangover cure as well, Sean?
You know what? They do actually help with. I swear to God. So I went to the Masters this year with PGA Memes.
Okay.
And so this is my first Masters. I am so excited.
I bet.
The night before the first day we were gonna go, I actually got food poisoning. I was up puking all night. I was dead to the world. I'm like, how am I ever going to survive? I actually loaded up on this CBD, and I actually powered through the entire day.
Nice.
I don't even know how I did it.
That's
but
awesome.
I don't know. It just has these crazy medicinal properties that work for almost anything.
Yeah. It's funny when you were talking about being sick, or I can just picture propped up against your bed being sick, and then in the corner of your eye just seeing an Envide CBD product in the corner and be like, there's hope. There's hope, and then crawling across and then dropping it and be like, it works again.
Okay, I'm good to go. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I still felt like shit, but it got me through my day.
So as well as the relief one, so obviously you've got Clarity and Relax.
So Clarity and Relax. So Relax is for anxiety and anxious moments.
So more of a mental capacity style one.
Yeah, so a lot of people deal with anxiety or not being able to relax. Whenever you're about to tee off on the first tee. A lot of people are nervous, heart's pounding,
naturally.
everything like that. So first tee jitters, or anxiousness for a really important golf shot, to get your emotions more in check.
Yeah, no.
So we have gummy bears and again the oil drops.
Yeah.
So the gummies are actually one of our biggest sellers, because you just you munch on a few of them and that's it.
It's almost like entry level as well with food, because people feel less intimidated if they're trying something new, if it's like a consumable, like a sweet. But does that take longer to hit you a bit, like because it's got to go through your system a bit more, or?
Yeah, I would say it would take a little bit longer, but not as much, but definitely the CBD oil absorbs into your body a lot quicker.
I think it's got to be a great product as well for those who are perhaps maybe a bit uneducated on cannabis in general, and immediately think CBD is going to get you high.
Yeah.
It's like a soft entry. It's like, it's just sweet. It's going to make you feel better. Just take it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just don't tell them.
It's not alien.
These have no THC.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
it's
not going to get you high.
impossible.
There's no psychedelic qualities.
Yeah.
I really wanted to focus on the education part of the company, and letting people know that this isn't really drugs.
Yeah.
It's less drugs than what they're probably already taking.
And the sweets and the gummy bears work perfectly for that, because it's a gummy bear. It looks like a kid could eat it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
they're little cute bears. Like, how bad could it be, right?
It's not gonna kill you.
Yeah, but I'll take 6.
And then you've got the final one, was the clarity one. So the clarity, what's that
clarity,
one about?
It's just to help you focus more.
Okay.
I mean, everybody deals with focus issues through a full 18, or with any sport you're kind of playing, where, you'll start out strong and then, you just get comfortable or complacent.
Yeah.
The clarity gummies will definitely keep you on point and focused on the task at hand. So
Awesome.
Whether I need to read a huge contract or document, I'll munch on a few clarity gummies.
Nice.
Or, if the back nine, I'm not as concentrated on my swing, or I'm just kind of enjoying myself a little too much and I want to score well, I'll munch on a couple of those as well.
That's amazing to be
And
fair.
can you do you sort of promote the use of all three together, Sean? Is that something that's possible with these?
Yeah, I mean, you can use them all together. Of course, everybody reacts differently, so I wouldn't start with, hey, let me take all of these. It's not gonna kill you, but I don't know, everybody's body reacts differently.
You've got best to check just in case.
Discretion is key.
Yeah, no,
but
100% agree with that.
But for those people who have high tolerances in certain areas, I might take a little more than the normal person.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I know you noticed. Sorry, you mentioned earlier with this particular product, this one was 0% THC. Were you going to lead on to say some of them do have THC in, or no?
Yeah, there are certain, like I mean, Envid and Envid Golf don't use they don't include any THC, but there are other companies that do have THC. That do get you a little buzzed or a little high.
I imagine that does restrict on your selling and things like that, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's best to focus on one.
There are a lot of restrictions for that, but there are also a lot of people that do enjoy that. So
of course.
It's all good.
We touched very briefly earlier, Sean, on education. You said it's going to be a big focus of yours at NV Golf in the start. Can you sort of talk to us a bit more about how these products are actually made, and so people understand the source and really understand the fact that these aren't really drugs at all? It's a plant.
Exactly. I mean, it comes from it's sourced from hemp, cannabis. The actual plant themselves. So the company I partnered with, they control the entire process from seed to sale. Because there's so much crap that's being sold out there. Importing CBD from China or Mexico and not really sure what's in it.
Is that a thing in this industry? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there are people importing shit and just releasing it to the public.
How can you feel good about selling that? Like,
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm sure beds of money help them feel just fine. But anyway, in Envied Golf, we have our own farms in Oregon where we grow everything.
Okay.
It gets shipped down to San Diego, California, where it's all blended and the entire scientific process takes place, where they actually narrow down certain parts of the plant that target certain receptors in the body.
Yeah.
So that's why the different blends exist that have different healing properties and qualities.
Yeah, so it's CBD that you're trying to hunt out essentially, and that's
exactly.
You're forgetting about the rest of it. I imagine they do something with the other parts themselves, but for your side, you're just focused on 100% CBD. Because
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And that's so good from an authenticity point of view. Like something that me and Mickey focus on as well. We've obviously banged on about brand. If you're not authentic as a brand now and transparent now, then you're going to fall behind. And the fact that you control this product from, like you say, seed to sale adds so much more authenticity and relatability to the brand, where you can storytell about this product properly.
Yeah, exactly. And it allows us to actually control. Yeah, it's quality control. So we can ensure that the blends are the same.
Yeah.
So one bottle of gummy bears isn't stronger than another bottle of gummy bears.
Yeah, you've got to make sure it's
so
all the same
it's all
product.
Yeah, exactly. So we can actually control that whole thing.
Makes sense. And then what do you actually do once you've got it? If you may or may not know what the process is with this. So what do they do with the THC when you're done with it?
I actually don't know. So my partners deal with that whole side of the business.
No problem.
So,
well, I'll give you my address and you can pass that on to your partner.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Funny one. Anyway, that was a joke.
I know.
So I suppose it's a good point to move on to the people who do actually use it that you know of in the industry. I see on your Instagram you have a video of Phil Mickelson actually consuming some on the course.
Yeah, he totally got caught, with some drops at the mat.
He looks so sketchy. He's like, anyone looking at me right now?
He looks so sketchy. He's
looking around.
It's like, bro, you got like
a million cameras on you
right now. You're playing in the Masters, like. Yeah, like what do you expect?
I just noticed that look now when he just played that video for the first time. Like
it's like the little ferret look.
He literally looks around to see if he can see anyone.
Anyone watching me right now, dude? No, Phil, you're good. You're good. Okay.
Yeah. It's like no, nobody's watching me. Just take it. It's all good.
I mean, it's interesting that it's getting into the professional game now as well.
I mean, Bubba Watson just came out and endorsed CBD use. I know that the tour isn't too keen on supporting CBD use because I don't think they've figured out how to profit off of it yet. Or they just don't understand it yet. So
wait, everybody stop until we figure out the money side of this first.
Yeah, exactly.
Standard.
But they just have to look at I think it's in the NBA where players are allowed to be involved in endorsement deals with cannabis as well as CBD, right? As well as THC. Is it NBA or is it the NFL? Yeah.
I actually have no idea.
We'll have to look into
that. No, that's really interesting.
Man, I mean, it's
that's a step forward and a half if that's true, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, with more and more things being, legalized, those sponsorships are the next natural thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually
though, isn't it? To find it's because in the UK it's still illegal. The cannabis as a whole. CBD still not really. It's breaking out. It's getting there. But people are still. There's a lot of people that still say, "Oh, it's marijuana." It's like, it's really good to see that now celebrities are starting to endorse it. Whereas you wouldn't really find a celebrity endorsing alcohol. You wouldn't see. It's not as common to see them. No. Oh, I'm so wasted off this shot of tequila. Whereas this is it's proven that it's beneficial. It's almost come from behind to take the lead.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, there's a lot more health benefits associated with it. So I mean, it's a little different.
Yeah. And do you know much about the history as to why it picked up such a bad name and things like that? Is that something you had to look into when you were setting up the business, or did you just kind of know it's clean now? Let's just crack on with it.
I was just gonna take a shot.
Yeah,
I
fair
mean,
enough.
I figured people were I saw where the wave was going.
Yeah, no.
I knew if I didn't do it, somebody else was.
Fair enough.
And there are a couple other companies that started out around the same time as I did.
Okay.
Trying to target the same industry.
Yeah.
What was really interesting to see was as I go around and network with different people, I met a couple of golf course owners and country club owners, and I was just like kind of picking their brain, like, hey, would you consider selling this stuff in a pro shop? I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Like, would you sell this in your pro shop? And this was like an actual country club. And they were like, of course. I don't see why you wouldn't. I feel like 80 to 90% of our membership already use CBD products.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's
because what I'm finding is a lot of the older generation is actually using it on a daily basis for pain management, and a lot of different things.
Well, I think, like you said, once they use it once, that's it. They'll realize. I think it's
just getting over.
Don't knock it till you've tried it is the most classic blanket statement for CBD. That's probably the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, and I guess to get to add to that, I mean, the fact that you're based out on the West Coast, it couldn't really be a better community of people to start infiltrating into the golf industry because of the liberal sort of attitudes towards cannabis. There's not really that sort of
stigma.
That stigma attached to it. Which
exactly.
Is perfect.
I mean, and well, out here in California, CBD companies are a dime a dozen out here.
Yeah,
so,
I can imagine.
but the only reason I would even consider throwing my hat into such a saturated market is because, of the connections in the industry.
Well, I like that, and as well, obviously the element of you back yourself. Clearly you're a really smart dude, Sean. So it's admirable that you've started something that is in a saturated market, thinking, no, I'll do it my own way, and it will stand aside.
And like you say, you stand in the middle of the golf industry where you have been for the last sort of 9 years. You've obviously got various contacts you can leverage, and then as well, I'm not sure how saturated the CBD market is that focuses on golf solely.
Yeah, it's definitely not saturated. It's definitely not saturated yet. It's definitely starting to gain momentum now.
Okay.
So I figured most CBD companies that I've run into, especially living in California, they're all marketed the same way.
Okay.
As a health product, health and wellness, and But one thing that I've learned about marketing to people on the internet is people are stupid and people are lazy.
Yeah.
They have no imagination, and you need to exactly tell them what the product is for, so that they can actually visualize themselves using.
And I love how the names relate to that. Relief, clarity, relax. What do you want of the three? Take your pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's just stupid simple, and actually telling them what it's used for. It's like, hey, you have knee pain. Hey, you have elbow pain. Hey, you have a sore shoulder. It's like, hey, yeah, I have that. And they can actually. You need visualize relief, what. Yeah, exactly. They can visualize what to use it for.
That's insane. I love it. Yeah. So, go on, Mitch.
No, yeah. I guess the other thing as well that I picked up on there when we were talking about people needing to visualize it, etc. One thing I picked up when I spoke to Matt, he mentioned that he tried the product for a full month before he even said he would endorse it. That speaks volumes to me about the kind of. About the kind of influencer Matt is, because he has to believe in the product in order to try and promote it, and it speaks volumes about you because you're going to allow the person to experience the benefits before you even ask them to try and promote it for you. I think it's becoming more and more clear that it's the attitude between these partnerships, deals, and brands that really dictate how successful they're going to be.
Oh, absolutely. And people kind of see through it. It's like, oh, you're just promoting it because they're paying you.
No.
As opposed to, hey, you're promoting it because you believe in it. So it's that much more powerful.
So I know you touched earlier how you said you're looking at potentially getting it into Canada and the UK. Is that something that we can expect soon, or is that just kind of like long-term strategy?
That's something I would have to discuss with my partner.
Fair enough.
I have no idea. Okay. I have no idea how that. I haven't gotten into. Thankfully, they were able to shield me from all the legality issues and just focus on marketing and sales.
You get the fun part. Fair enough. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, just bear in mind when that does happen, obviously myself and Mitchell, we travel up and down the country. We're going to do some more. We have a lot of connections with golf clubs already, and we hope to just expand on that. So give us a shout if you ever need any help.
Yeah, and I guess...
Yeah, absolutely.
And further to that as well, Sean, obviously you've got multiple other interests within the industry. Where do you see the future for golf ball? And is the UK and the influencer market industry in the UK something that you've dived into already? I think I saw some brief work with Rick Shields maybe on a previous post.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've known Rick for years because we run into each other at different events,
Yes.
PGA shows, everything like that. And
Awesome.
I was working with Wilson's staff for I was helping them, with their marketing efforts for the Driver versus Driver 2
Okay.
show on Golf Channel.
Yes,
so
right,
Rick was one of the judges. So I was helping them with. We were filming in Lake Tahoe at the American Century Championship.
Beautiful.
With all of the celebs and everything, and he was one of the hosts. So yeah, we were just hanging out there for a while. But yeah, I really haven't delved much into the UK market yet. I've actually been approached by some of the VPs of some of the manufacturers based in the UK.
Okay.
So I know that there's like different locations, and they're trying to tap into more of the influencer market. And they see what I've kind of done behind the scenes with a lot of these companies.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something on the horizon I'm going to get more into.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Just Jacks Golf, we're a small brand as it is, but we're quite a tight and engaged community that's obviously growing. It's obviously an avenue that we'd look to go down. So again, don't want to sort of throw our names in the hat again, but it would be something that would be really sort of interested to get involved with if you do end up working with some of the UK departments of these brands.
Of course, I just finished a conversation with a brand, a very large brand that I do a lot of work with here domestically, to put me in their budget for 2020, so I can get out and help promote the British Open.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
We'll
hopefully I'll be out there more in 2020.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then again, just for everyone listening, Sean, are there any sort of emerging brands in the golf space that are really standing out to you at the moment, that either apparel or equipment or anything that you're saying, oh, these guys are doing things?
Oh wow.
The likes of Malvern Golf, for example, who stand out to me.
Yeah, so I'm really good friends with Stephen Malbon.
Oh, nice.
He it's funny. I mean, he comes from a very like artistic background. I believe he kind of sold. Yeah, I know, right? So I believe he sold off one of his companies and then started Malbon Golf, kind of just to get into the golf industry and as a fun side project. But he's figured out how to partner with the right people and monetize it, and he's really taken it to the next level. Yeah. I love how innovative he is, especially with his partnerships. I mean, and so I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's something again that we spoke to Matt Cardis about as well. Is sort of that injection of the surf ski culture into the golfing community is something that's going to be really beneficial to the game, whether it be in the apparel, the more relaxed approach, or whether it just be in that community sense. I'm a big skier myself, so is Mickey. When you're just in the mountains and you speak to that community of people and they just talk about how their day was and the shred and the snow conditions, it's just something I think you can draw parallels from golf with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's going to be things like that help grow the game, making it a little more casual, little relatable. That's perfect. It's veering from the elitist, stuffy, country club stigma where, hey, the sport can be a lot of fun and there's a lot of fun people doing it. And it can be casual, it can be serious, it can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
So whatever the experience you want to get out of it, there's a market for you in this sport. And that's why, the emergence of, I guess, more casual brands like a Malbon Golf, connecting urban feel with the game, or companies like Top Golf, or creating the entertainment aspect, really getting in front of more people to make it more fun and gamifying the sport in certain ways. Well, it's just little things making the sport more accessible.
Definitely, no, that's a big thing that we're down with at Just Jacks, and it's funny you should say that, because it might be a good time just to quick pick your brain on what your thoughts are. So myself and Mitchell Semi being tasked with trying to find a good simulator company that will run with a large company in the Northeast are setting up a simulator center. They want to have 8 simulators in total, but they don't just want to stick with golf. They want to make sure that they can get everyone who's not into golf there as well. Heavily focused on mini games and things like that. Have you had much experience with the simulators yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually I was part of a project that about to open up a golf simulator sports bar.
Fantastic.
This is probably like
very similar.
3 or 4 years ago, but one of my partners went to jail, so that whole
doesn't help.
It's going to pause things.
Kind of dissolved.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
So that's what you get for selling drugs on the side.
It's because you see the likes of Five Iron Golf and obviously Top Golf are really sort of creating this whole new avenue to the game.
Yeah, they're getting people who've never picked up golf clubs before, getting them up, and that's what
we're about. That's what in our basis, we're a mission-based business, and that's exactly what we're about. And I guess
I've worked with like a ton of different simulator companies, and they're starting to integrate a lot of gameplay in their technologies and everything like that. So like I have a bunch of connections to help you guys out and kind of narrowing down the right possible partners for that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
we'll speak about that after, if you like.
Full Swing Golf. They're doing great things down there.
I have a contact with Full Swing. A gentleman named Nick Grace. I believe their Europe base is out in Zurich.
Okay.
So yeah, we
it's good to have another sort of
we'll
testimonial if you like.
Check out because Full Swing are supposed to be one of the leaders in the industry, to be fair. And I also hear Foresight are on the way up as well.
They've been around and producing some really good technology also.
And then
you're along ready. You don't need.
just you never know.
No, I think we could definitely do with your knowledge. That's for sure. And I guess again, just going back to Sean, what we're about as a business is its baseline increasing participation in the game. We're just really interested to understand what your thoughts are on the state of the amateur game. Where you're living, and is it flourishing? If so, why? And if not, again, why? And what can be done to really promote more participation?
I think the media has really scared a lot of people with the downturn in golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I really truly believe there is an upswing right now that isn't being covered.
I agree, definitely.
With Tiger Woods back on the scene, like he truly moves the needle, and it is crazy. And there's never been an athlete in the history of sport who has done more for their sport than Tiger has done for golf.
I feel like there's a Netflix documentary or a film brewing here around Tiger.
He's the goat. He's the goat to top all goats.
Yeah. 100%. Because if you think about any sport, if you took Michael Jordan out of basketball, guess what? NBA still was successful.
Yeah.
You take the top baseball player, you take Mike Trout out of baseball.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball still
there.
Flourishes. You take Tiger out of golf, the whole industry suffers.
Yeah.
It is crazy. You've never
probably collapse on itself.
Yeah, you've never seen anything like that. So when he was coming back on the scene, I mean, not only were Nike and TaylorMade super excited, but so was everybody else. Callaway, Cobra, Wilson, everybody was
because
excited
the attention's
for it
in golf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It means good things for everybody.
Definitely.
So again, I feel like there is, with the growth of social media in particular, there is a lot more accessibility to the game and people to get more immersed in golf content to keep them more engaged with the sport.
Yeah, and I think on that though as well, with like you say, with social media, there's the opportunity, but there's also the threat that they're going to get distracted by other avenues. So it's Instagram pages like yourself that are really gripping it and moving it forward. So honestly, first of all, it's a thank you. Just without pages like yourself, it just wouldn't be what it is now.
It wouldn't be where it is. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate that. I mean, I just kind of used like the golf ball Instagram is just my creative outlet. So it's always just been kind of fun to me. Like I only like usually post things that like make me laugh, or like I see some like comedy in it, or I see something cool, or it's just that's all I use it for. But I'm glad that it's being seen as kind of like a platform to engage more people and get people more involved with the sport.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's fun to everyone else, because it's fun to you. And again, we're going back to the same old story about brand and storytelling, aren't we? I mean, Tiger Woods, the reason why everyone loves his current success is because it's another comeback story, right? Like, we've built them up, media have completely trashed and knocked him down to a point where people would thought he was just some loser. And then, of course, he starts coming back, he starts playing again. And the media have turned positive on him again, right? Like, we love a comeback story. We love a good old-fashioned comeback story. And I mean, it's working wonders.
I think even him himself is surprised by his comeback, because I know for a fact he was planning his retirement in 2015.
Right.
There was a closed-door meeting with Nike, and he was planning his ride off into the sunset.
Really?
He promised only a certain number of tournaments left, or a certain time period, I believe, but he was planning his ride off into the sunset, similar to what Nike did with Michael Jordan. He wanted to kind of transcend the sport similar to that, and
that would have been
he was definitely planning his retirement back then. But
I guess I mean, it's a good job he found NV Golf CBD products, right?
Exactly, right. So hey, that might be a correlation. I wish he was using my products.
That would have been so, yeah. Tiger, get a bit of clarity down, you sir. You got some focusing to do. There's more job left.
Well, I heard that like the gum he was chewing was CBD gum. Like he was munching on that gum the entire weekend, and I think it was CBD.
Well, I think the reason to me why I think that it was CBD is because when did we ever seen him chewing gum at an event ever? Chewing gum's been around. Chewing gum's been around the whole time he's been around, and then all of a sudden, bam, CBD. It's CBD gum. Like. Come on.
And at the most like prestigious tournament with the most tradition, you decide to start munching on gum with your mouth open like the entire time. I don't get it.
This performance,
it's a goat move. It's a goat move.
Yeah, exactly. He just wanted to win.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad he did. That was one of the best things I've seen.
It was amazing, to be fair. Even from my perspective, a lot of the listeners will know that I'm nowhere near as educated on golf as Mitchell is, or as passionate about as Mitchell is. I don't know anyone as passionate about as Mitchell is. But even I was just like in awe of the whole thing. Like, I was so happy for Tiger. Like that, it was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great point you make, though, because again, a lot of people are focused on the downturn in membership numbers, which you can't ignore. But it's not to say that the game's not being enjoyed and taken up in other methods and means.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, there's more money flowing through the sport of golf than any other sport. And that's something that isn't covered.
Is that true? Is that true?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, that's a really interesting side. I did not know that.
And it is a unique, than any other sport.
Wow.
And there are more sales associated with it, because it's a unique industry where if you're a fan of golf, you play golf.
Yeah,
if you're a fan of football, you don't necessarily play football.
Such a good point.
If you're a fan of baseball, you don't necessarily go out and play baseball.
That is so true. Like,
And let's remember the other beautiful aspect of it is every week there's a 4-day event that attracts tens of thousands of people to a course every single week.
Every single week for multiple days, like all week, not just one day. So it's a unique industry, a unique sport. And the whole culture is predicated upon having the latest and greatest, the newest technology, bragging to your buddies.
Yeah.
So it's unlike any other sport or industry out there.
Yeah. No, awesome. I totally agree with that.
That's why golf is going nowhere.
Got a long way to continue.
I like that.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Yeah, so look, Sean, thank you very much. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're busy. We respect that. What I want to close out on is something that we do with a few of our other guests. And it is asking you the simple question of, if you could play one round of golf anywhere, Where would it be, and who would it be with?
Oh, I mean that's easy. It would be
Arnie or
at Augusta
Tiger?
National. Yeah. Well, it would. Yeah, exactly. It would 100% be at Augusta National.
Okay.
That is goals upon goals. After being there for the first time, like it is unreal. The seeing it in person, it looked like a movie set. So like pristine
Oh
and
my
perfect.
God.
It just didn't look real.
You're
Anyway,
making me
yeah,
so
it would
jealous.
be. Yeah, it would be. What? Yeah, and why not play with the best? So yeah, it would be Tiger at Augusta National. I mean, I can't think of anything better than that.
If you
Yeah,
could
that's
fill it out as a
goals,
four
goals
ball,
upon goals.
who would be the
Yeah.
other two if you could fill the four ball?
For a foursome, it would be Tiger, Bill Murray,
Nice.
and shoot, I don't know who would be.
It'd be Tiger and Bill Murray.
Doesn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't have to be another golfer. That's awesome.
Like, do I really need anybody else?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. To be fair, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Nobody else
I mean-
welcome. It's a closed. It's
More
closed.
time for them to
it's
yourself.
like-
Yeah.
Because I just think it would be absolutely hilarious, Bill Murray, and like all of his antics on the golf course. I don't know. He's just a clown. I would love to play with him.
You just be like constantly laughing and then constantly in admiration as well, like the two best emotions, like for 4.5 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the two most important things to me. Yeah.
Take some relief. No. Take some clarity CBD beforehand, just to make sure you can take the whole thing in properly.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's insane.
Awesome, Sean. Look, we're going to leave it there. But look, you've been excellent. It's been really good on this one, I think, to get a really really good insight into the current state of the game from a true insider's perspective. We've picked up loads of lessons and tips from yourself in terms of the social media marketing aspect and brand and storytelling. I think it's been a really well-rounded podcast. So look, thank you so much for all your knowledge bombs. You've been a pleasure, and I'm sure all of our followers are going to be really grateful for you coming on.
Thank you so much, Sean. It's so clear how integrated you are. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, and to tell you the truth, this is the first podcast I've ever done. So
awesome.
thanks for breaking me in.
No, anytime.
Happy to break your virginity. Pop that cherry.
Yeah.
But no, honestly,
Like it.
Sean, like seriously, you're an awesome dude. I'm sure the nation are gonna love you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, man. Take care.
Take care.